Welcome everybody, it's Telman. In this video we are going to be talking about the intro cutscene to The Beast from Beyond, and we're going to be breaking it down to the best of my abilities inside this video. Now there's not too much inside this intro, but I still feel like it's worth talking about because there are a lot of things I see people missing inside this intro. I just want to explain that. Now of course where I got this information from was all from the earlier today. There was a live stream from Infinity Ward with Lee Ross. It was a beautiful live stream, but held a ton of spoilers, had gameplay and a bunch of things that kind of I didn't want to see yet, but regardless I watched it, and I'll just make different videos and other things they said inside that video. But that's where we got this intro cutscene from. But unfortunately inside their version they kind of cut in the middle and kind of ruined it, so I'm not going to be using their version of it. I'm going to actually be using one from MrRoflWaffles, so credit to him. I'll also link the video to him down in the descriptions, and because of that I'm not going to be playing the intro cutscene in full inside this video because I don't want to take anything away from his video since he had this originally. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's actually get into this video. So right at the start of the intro cutscene we see of course the previous things that happened, of course previously on zombies, and it shows everything that happened, Attack of the Radioactive Thing and all that good stuff. But then continues after that and our characters are on the same spaceship. But what's interesting is that we're not actually going to stay on this spaceship because we see the spaceship is actually going to land, and this is one thing I didn't expect. I thought we were going to stay on the spaceship the entire time, but I was wrong and a lot of people were right who told me otherwise. But looks like we're going to land on some planet and we're not going to have anything to do that we know of so far to do with that spaceship because it looks like we left it far behind. But when we land we go into this area and we all have OSAs, which I'll get back into in just a second. But anyways, our characters start talking to each other and Poindexter says something pretty darn interesting. He starts talking about how it relates to extinction and all that stuff, but it's a little different, but it reminds him of Nightfall. If you guys are unaware of what Nightfall is, it was the first DLC for Call of Duty Ghosts with extinction, and it was a pretty interesting map, and I can understand where he's making the connections to it because in Nightfall you had an underground facility that experimented on all the cryptids and all that stuff, and it was in Alaska, so it's a really snowy looking place. And if you guys have played Nightfall you guys would understand. So that's what's pretty interesting, and on top of that this is also where we saw Samantha Cross for the first time. Now what makes it interesting is that we're going to be doing pretty much the same thing, and except this time we're going to be on some other planet. That's why he says it's kind of like a rewrite or a remake. So it looks like it's going to be a revamp of Nightfall except a little different. So this is pretty interesting because I was kind of hoping for a continuation to the story, but it looks like that's not actually going to be the case. We're going to have a remade Nightfall, unless that's not actually the case, but that's what it looks like. And this is the real reason I wanted to make this video because it looks like that's what's going to happen here. But instead of having whatever the events happen inside Nightfall, we're going to have our characters now, instead of our previous ones from Call of Duty Ghosts, meet Samantha Cross for the first time, which may or may not play a big role into the story. I don't think it will, but we'll see when we actually get it. So it looks like it's not going to be a continuation or a prequel, but just a remake of Nightfall, which is pretty darn interesting. But tell me what you guys think about that. Do you guys think that's a good idea or not? But anyways, continuing through this intro, we could actually see two other things I think are worth mentioning. We actually see our characters take off their spacesuits and they are wearing some, I was going to say normal clothes, but not exactly normal either, but they're wearing some not fit for outer space clothes, I guess I'll call it. But I don't know, it looks like we're not going to be seeing any outer space thing at all or anything that's even worth carrying all the extra equipment on. But anyways, the other thing and the last thing I want to mention inside this video is that you see our characters holding OSAs. And if you guys have seen the live stream you would understand this, but the OSAs, they may be our starting weapon because if you look at this, all our characters already have the OSA in their hands. I believe that's what it's called, right? Okay, I'm pretty darn sure it's called OSA. It's from Call of Duty Ghosts. But anyways, it looks like that's what our characters are going to start with. Now, this could not be the case because I think we saw this inside one of Treyarch's openings before where our characters had some special weapons, almost every single one of them, and then we start and we have a pistol. But for some reason, they're making it pretty obvious to show that all our characters have OSAs. So I think it's pretty obvious what's going to be happening here. It looks like we're going to be starting with OSAs. And of course, if you guys have seen certain things, you would know certain things. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Tell me what you guys think about this intro. It's a pretty long one compared to all the other ones, I think, or maybe it's just as long, I don't know, but it felt longer than the other ones and it had some pretty interesting information. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys actually think there's going to be a remake to the Nightfall map, or do you guys think it's going to be a continuation or just some pocket inside the story somewhere? But also tell me what you guys think Samantha Cross is going to do inside this map, if she's going to have a big role or even affect the greater story to zombies. But anyways, that's about it for this video. I want to thank everybody who liked and subscribed and even shared this video. It helps out a lot, so I thank everybody who did that on this video. But anyways, that's about it for me, and I'll catch you guys on my next video.